welcome back to another video of the weekly growth. I have returned to talk about another specific sin, this time being the sin of gluttony. Now, what is gluttony? Gluttony refers to excessive eating and drinking of many things to the point where it becomes wasteful. That's basically the rundown of what gluttony can be. How does this transgress against God? How does this make us disobedient towards Him and what He has told us to do? And how do we get away from this sin? So let's get into it. I already gave you a basic definition of gluttony. This has many different repercussions, simply because gluttony can be very selfish and it can lead to a lot of rebellion of authority, like your father, your mother, rebellion against people that treat you as a guest, and rebellion against those who just want to try and be kind to you. So let's talk about it, because honestly, this is something that isn't really talked about as much as other sins. Like, I would hear a lot about lust, about anger, and about hypocrisy. Those are mostly what I see around in Christian circles and many discussions. So when it comes to gluttony, there's not really much limelight on it, so I feel like this would be a perfect video for it. Now, as I stated before, gluttony can make you rebellious. How so? Simple. You give in to a desire when you start gluttony, a desire to take as much as you want without thinking about the repercussions that might lead you in the end. So, for example, let's say you're at a friend's gathering, You're all having a great time, just hanging out, probably playing a board game, or talking about a book, or a TV show you guys watched, something like that, Maybe talk about a football game, I don't know, something like that. You guys are having a great time, and you all feel a bit hungry, So everybody pitches in to order a certain amount of pizza, so everybody can dig in, because everybody has their preferences for food. So everybody pitches in to get that preference in about 2 to 3 pizzas, let's say. The pizza comes in, skip to that. You see this very delicious pizza, very cheesy, very saucy, lots of pepperoni or whatever else you put in a pizza, It looks great. Now, normally, you just eat about 2 slices and you wait for seconds. That's common decency, especially when you're in a friend group. But with gluttony, you start getting selfish, because now your mind is thinking, I want this entire box of pizza for myself. That's what I want. So instead of your friends having a good portion of pizza to enjoy throughout the day, now they don't have nearly as much and will probably have to get more food down the line because you decided to eat more than you needed to, i.e., a whole box of pizza. So now, not only you look like a very selfish person towards your friend, you also now lost their trust in you. Because now they're gonna think, oh, this guy is just gonna take whatever he wants without, keeping in mind his friends and their hunger. Now they're gonna think, well, I just spent this money just for this person to take it and eat basically most of it. So I'm not gonna pitch in anymore when this person is around. You see what I mean? You are basically becoming selfish because you want to eat whatever you want as much as you want. So now people see you as very, very selfish because of it. And that's the point that I'm trying to drive home. Gluttony leads to selfishness, which is something that God is very, very against. Because when Jesus came down to earth, he came to serve. That is the example that he gave us, to serve others so he can glorify God in the end for it. Because that's what God is. He is selfless and he is loving. Gluttony goes against that. Because now you are selfish and you love food more than you love your friends or your family. And basically, you're God. Because now you're putting food above God in what he taught you and his very principles that he instilled in you. You are putting gluttony on top of that. So, that's the basic rundown of how gluttony can affect others around you. Now let's talk about how it can affect you specifically. It'll definitely affect your walk with Christ, because like I said before, you are doing the opposite of what he taught you, what he set an example for. But in a more of your physical health, you're eating and drinking all of this, you're gonna be fat. Let's be real. You're gonna be fat and you're gonna grow in size, and it's gonna lead down to health issues that might affect you severely, very severely. It leads to obesity, weight gain, of course, and diseases like type 2 diabetes and or a heart disease. You become more unhealthy. You won't be able to do as much as you used to do before. Now you can pretty much take a stroll around the park. You can barely walk 100 yards. You go out of bed and go for a swim. Now you can barely get up from the bed because your body just does not want to. It's things like that. Gluttony may seem fun because you're eating all this delicious food at first, but then later down the line, it'll lead to things that will affect you permanently. Not in a good way either. So, how do you get away from that? Let's be simple about it. The simple answer is pray to God for strength. Strength in restraint of your cravings and strength to stay selfless. That's the basic thing that you should do, and it should be daily. And again, ask for help, around your circle. Say, hey, I'm having problems with this. I can't stop myself from eating, so I need help. Can you help me? And all that stuff. They can help me. And what can you do yourself, other than praying, is simple. Start creating habits that will keep you from gluttony. If you start feeling those cravings of overeating, after, let's say, a breakfast, cook the only amount that you need for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Cook only that amount that you need to get the nourishment to go through the day. Only that amount. And if you have those cravings, start doing something else immediately. Start cleaning plates. Run the dishwasher, do laundry, do anything that will keep you from falling into gluttony. Those habits add up, and it'll rewire your brain to say, hey, okay, I don't need this much food. I only need this amount, and I can keep going. So your brain will start putting its processing into other things that you can put your time into. And that's how you can slowly break out of the sin of gluttony. So, as always, repent, and take the steps necessary to break from the chains of whatever sin you're into, and this one being gluttony. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all next week. Have a blessed day and or night. Goodbye.